Hello and welcome to the Party Center Speaks podcast. This is the podcast for family entertainment center and event venue owners, operators, managers, and staffers looking to grow their business. Want to learn more about how you can increase party bookings, improve facility operations, and other topics? This is the podcast for you. My name is Laura Cañas, and I'm the marketing manager here at Party Center Software. In this episode, we're going to share audio from our webinar on the impact of atmosphere on guest experience. We hope you enjoy this presentation.
I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for this awesome webinar that I'm really looking forward to hearing from Adam. And I know that I speak for all of us when I say that. So today's webinar is all about the impact of atmosphere on the guest experience. And we're featuring, as you can see here, we've got the FEC Music Man there in the background. So we're going to just kind of jump into a few things just to introduce myself to you guys. My name is Rebecca Toomey. I'm the Director of Sales and Customer Success here at Party Center Software. And if you don't know who we are, we offer online booking and facility management to really make booking parties and managing your facility and events a breeze. So we love helping business owners. We love helping you guys grow. These are some of the features of our software. We offer point of sale, online waivers, online party booking, event management, advanced reporting, customer database, employee management, and so much more. But really, we are focused on helping provide advice and tips to help you grow your business. So to introduce my lovely team to you guys, you'll see here on camera, we've got Megan Hawkins. She is our lead customer success consultant. We also have Alex Keller, who is our customer success consultant, new and fresh to the organization located in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you guys for joining us today for this. If you guys have any questions during the webinar, I know Adam is going to be there to answer them, and I know Megan and Alex are here to answer your questions as well. Jumping in at some point, if they ever get off the phone with customers, because they love helping customers, and I know they're on calls all day, are our lovely customer success managers, Eileen Hawkins and Tanya Barnett. So like I said, they're helping customers right now. They may jump on here to join us for this. Now, the expert, the man with the plan, Adam Melrose. He is Chief Playlist Officer, but so much more. He does everything over there at FEC Music and Control Play. And I have a little bio for him, so I'm going to go ahead and just shoot that off to you guys. Now, since his years as a professional DJ and bar manager, Adam's whole life has revolved around music and customer service. His background lets him relate to the many ups and downs of the entertainment profession, and he really aims to provide the best support for FEC Music and Bull Music subscribers. So he's most proud of creating and building the system for the company's playlist team and successfully taking all of their products to market over the last 13 years. Adam loves talking about music and finding other like-minded professionals who understand the influential power of a good playlist. All right. Now, I will let Adam share more about FEC Music and about himself. But first, I want to give you guys a little bit of context to this conversation. Guest experience. It is one of the most important things about entering a facility. When your customers walk in, they want to be wowed. They want to have that great experience. But it's so much more than what we might think. And that is what Adam is here to tell us about today. So I am going to turn it over to Adam, and he is going to talk to you guys all about how you can really optimize that guest experience. So give me one moment to stop my share, turn it over to Adam, and just give me a second here. There you are, Adam.
Okay, perfect.
I'm like,
so,
where are you?
Yeah, excellent. If we're all seeing the right thing, it should be the impact of atmosphere kind of guest experience screen up here. The same thing that should be behind me as well. So, absolutely. So, Rebecca, thanks so much for bringing us in. And I know we've worked with you guys at a whole bunch of different parties on the road at different events, and have had the opportunity. I've known Mr. Drummond for a good long time as well, and In the early years of all of our companies, it was, that was the circus that we used to travel around the country, and we'd be talking to all these great progressive proprietors and people who were spending money to go out and better their business. And it's been really cool to see just the trends in the last, more than a decade at this point. We're coming up on year 15 for Bowling Music Network, and I've been here since year 1. So it's been really exciting to see where, especially in the FEC world, where things have come from, even when I came into it, because, obviously our offices are up here in Canada, and we have like 450 bowling centers in Canada. And at the time, maybe like, I don't know, 4 dozen FECs. I know, times that by 20 and enter the US. So it was really cool to see, even up here in Canada, how everybody's caught up and they're starting to invest so much into their businesses. And that investment wasn't just new tables and chairs. It was training from certain companies that we all work with as well, and just investing in their staff and investing in that experience. And it's been a really cool ride just to see where it's at. Before it was everybody's kind of looking at this going, no, we just turn the lights on and everything's good. That's just not good enough anymore. And we need to be doing all these great things like Party Center and, FEC Music, or all these other great companies that have come out of to IAAPA and are delivering great tools to the FEC industry to just do better things. So a little bit more on my background. Is, obviously Kevin wrote a wonderful little bio that I love. I love when people introduce me. It's I come from a really long line of nightclub owners. Mind you, my dad's side of the family are farmers and machinists, but my mom's family, if anybody's been to Niagara Falls in the general area, owned and operated a ton of discotheques in the 70s and hotels and a variety of things. So I grew up, my first record collection was an old DJ's record collection from a discotheque in Niagara Falls. And that's the music I grew up on. So, we were one of those families that every single weekend, the fridge needed to be stocked full of beer and the liquor cabinet needed to be full because we always had people coming over. And I learned at a really, really young age that it's just as important as to what we're serving for food and pouring for drinks this weekend as what the playlist is. Because my parents were crazy about it. They would put more time, half the time, into building a list of, what records we were putting on that weekend than it was, we're gonna serve burgers and we're gonna be out in the pool, like no big deal. So, and later in life, I read this great thing that I'm assuming everybody on the webinar today knows who Dr. Dre is. He writes in one of his biographies that one of his favorite things growing up was when he was around 6 or 7 was building a stack of 45s that he knew the parents would dance to. And I had a very similar experience when I was younger. And I'd know, like, if my Uncle Rick's coming, I got to put this on because he'll dance like a lunatic around the kitchen. And it was just like, I figured out really, really early in life, like, hey, music does this cool thing and changes the environment, and it changes just what the party feels like. And it just seemed like everybody always had a better time. And then I would test that as a kid every once in a while, play something bad and be like, oh yeah, this really makes sense. So that brought me into a really young age of being in bands. And obviously I got into the DJ world once upon a time as well, because I would see all these guys at nightclubs, and this was the 90s. So scratching was a big thing, and Run DMC and the Beastie Boys were a big deal. And I was just seeing what this movement and what this sound was doing to rooms full of people. And that was kind of, I'm 14, 15 at the time, and I started playing out, and, I started playing in nightclubs, which was the scariest thing in my life. I was 16 the first time I played in a nightclub, and, I had the big X's on my hand because I wasn't allowed to drink, but, I'm pushing play on a song, and all of a sudden these 400 people in this room would just go nuts. And it was this really cool experience that I had learned from a young age, just trying to get my family to do these weird dances. And now I've got this room of people going, and, that progressed into a great career as a DJ. And then obviously you move from the DJ spot to the bar manager spot. And in college, I ran a really cool spot in town. And when I really started figuring out how to understand and control the atmosphere was I came up with what we called the plan document, which was, basically just these sheets of white paper I printed off for everybody. And we started really looking at it. The bar, we have this after work crowd, we have a dinner time crowd, we have a game day or game time crowd, and we have this late night crowd. And the plan document was, who are the people? So that's the P. What's the location? Because this place was big. It was like a pool hall, concert hall, banquet facility, and a restaurant. And what location in the area are we in? what was the attitude and the atmosphere that we wanted to create? Because obviously there were some events that we wanted to be a little more hyped up for, and vice versa. And then what was our opportunity to network was the end part of it. So if we knew there was a big group of people coming in, the networking capability was, can we upsell them while they're here? And at the other side of it was, how do we get them to come back again? And how can we talk to these people while they're with us to, sell more to them? So I developed that while we were there, and that was really, really, that's when we started throwing amazing parties at this restaurant. That was also a bar, and I just really got it. And when I transitioned into Bowling Music Network, we just, here's this company that was playing music to bowling centers, and they were building cool playlists. And I said, well, this is kind of neat. But it was more so just playlists, and it was pick yourself. And then so we started really looking at it and talking to the bowling proprietors and saying, like, well, when do you have leagues? When are you running open play? When's Cosmic Bowling happening? And how do we align these really cool sounds with those different times of the day? And that's really the basics of what got us started way back when, and that we've developed since then. So here I am rambling 5 minutes into the thing, but that was the whole idea was, how do we just take the same sort of concept? And what blows my mind is I walk into, I've been in this forever now, and we walk into customer locations all the time. And I'll go in there unbeknownst. I know I'm wearing a Bowling Music shirt right now, but I'll usually put a jacket on or a sweater or something so they don't know who we are, because I want to just go in and experience what's happening. And one of my most favorite stories ever was, there's a place called Nacho Daddy that's right on the side of Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. So if you ever go, it's a great spot. The food is amazing. And there's this amazing air in this place because everybody on the staff is having a great time. And I'm sitting around thinking, like, what are they doing here? What's got, somebody's pouring some really good Kool-Aid, everybody's drinking it, and I'm having a better time as a guest because every staff member, the guy's making the tortillas in the back, the guy's delivering my food, the lady serving drinks, having a beauty time. And then I find out it's because they have our service going and everybody has access to the playlist. And everybody, their experience was representative of the music they were playing because they were all involved in it and they picked the music and they're having a good time. And these people are making crazy tips. So it's amazing to see just that, it's just a great example of how this can play into it. And, in a modern setting, it's all about, there's just so much going on, right? We're in the screenager era. Everybody's connected to everything. Everybody knows everything about everyone. And when they come into your venue, it's more so at this point about, how do we touch every one of their senses and how do we immediately set that tone? There's a lot of things we're going to do when they're here. Depending on our venue, they might bowl, they might climb the rock walls, they might play laser tag, or whatever your options are. But it's how do we just immediately get them into that mode, right? And how do we touch every part of their senses? And a lot of people go, well, we've got great attractions and we have good food, and this backseat thing is the music that's playing, and which obviously I'm a little biased because I work here and my experiences in life, but I'm amazed at the amount of people we talk to that say, we just put Pandora on, or it's somebody's phone, or we have this CD player, which scares the crap out of me at this point because that's old. Not that the technology is bad, it's just that the CD's probably months out of date if they have making them themselves. So what we're trying to do is really just modernize the entertainment and the atmosphere and just help people really create that vibe right out of the gates. And it's all about understanding who our demographics are, and not so much just that, but at what day part and what days of the week are they coming in, and how do we plan for that? Going back to my planning document at the bar was, we knew on Friday nights we had this certain crowd, Saturday nights we have a certain crowd, Sunday mornings for brunch is a different crowd. So in the FEC space, especially bowling's pretty simple. We know when the leagues are there, we know when open bowling's happening. But in a more just modern FEC, this could be different. You could have the H&R Block tax people coming in for their end of tax season party, and then a little kid's birthday party right after that. So it's how can we align this and make sure that the experience is there, and right down to, I love walking into a place where when I walk through the front doors, they have got, they've spent millions on a sound system inside, but they put some really good money into that foyer area where the tunes are just cranked. This is your introduction to your business. So that might be the same playlist that's playing in the rest of the venue, or it's just something really cool you've got just in this space because excited people are going to spend money. A lot of these people are taking your money up front. So can we bring them in? Can we set that tone right out of the gates? And when we're talking to a lot of our customers and really, how are we creating these brand loyal guests, and how are we setting this atmosphere to bring them back more frequently, it's really understanding the expectations of the guest when they're coming in. You know, everybody's coming in with a sort of set of minimum expectations. I'm coming into your business. I know depending on how many attractions you have, I'm probably going to play laser tag today. We might have a little bite to eat. And if you've got another thing, I might stay for that. And you know what? I'm going to walk in, you're going to take my money, and then I'm going to go and do these things. And I'm going to leave. That's my basic. I'm going to come there. That better happen at least, and without a hiccup. You know, let's learn how to take money and it not be a big deal. And I just want to go to laser tag, and I want the packs to work, and I want my kids to have a good time. But what we're looking at is whether it's music or your staff engagement or a combination of both, is how do we really exceed that basic expectation? And, you know, one of those minor expectations or normal expectations going into a business is, yeah, there's going to be music playing, right? It might be a little loud, but there's going to be music playing. And if we can preset that and make that part of it in the exceeding side of it, that it's not just the same old that's playing, but it's exciting. And we've been able to go in and create this sort of experience with music. Now, some people know this, some people don't, but DJs, when they build out a set, it's about creating this wave, right? Every song has a different beat per minute to it, a different energy level to it. And we don't want to just be at this standard line, because then it's just beating your head against the wall. It's like going to a nightclub where they don't change the tempo. We have to take them on just as much as an experience is going from attraction to attraction within our venue. Is how do we just sonically take them on that same experience where they're just, hey, they're happy, they're having a good time, but every once in a while there's just that little pickup song that's like, oh yeah, you know. And I'll see it a lot of venues. That's including things like we all love her. Beth Stanley is a big fan of things like Cha-Cha Slide and Cupid Shuffle. I have done those dances with her in pretty much every state in the US at different trade shows, because I'm always the first person to get called up to help her out. But that's one of those things I love hearing from, you know, especially early on in our bowling days. Cha-Cha Slide was something that, or Cupid Shuffle, or any song like that, Macarena, you know, I'm dating myself there. But hearing from bowling proprietors say like, wow, I've never seen people dance on my approaches or just in my bowling center regardless. They come in, they pay, they bowl, they go home. And it's those cool little experiences that, you know, think of, if I'm a birthday dad, you know, I'm bringing my daughter for her birthday party, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to pay $13 a kid. They're getting a couple slices. They're going to get a pizza. They're going to get a pop. They're going to get some cake. They're going to bowl for a couple hours. I'm going to have an attendant that's maybe going to look after us, or they're going to be with us the whole time if they do it right. But, you know, we're in a bowling center here in town, and all of a sudden, shoot, you know, Cupid Shuffle comes on, and the girl that was looking after our party gets all the kids up, they get rolling, and all of a sudden I'm sitting back going, this is fantastic. Like, I don't have to do anything. This is just part of what they do. And that was this exceeding expectations piece. So what we're trying to do, you know, with what we do on our playlist methodologies and what we do with software is just say, okay, great. Well, how, you know, yeah, we're putting music out. You can get music from anywhere. And I don't care if you use our service or any music service. I should have prefaced this way back. It's just understand that there has to be some thought into what we're playing, right? So if we just pick the hits channel, I don't know if you guys have listened to the current top 40, but it's either really raunchy or it's super slow music. So we've got to do some digging, and we have to hand select those songs that just add to that experience and are going to take us on that fun journey. If it's not fun and familiar, I don't want to hear it, you know, just as a consumer, right? Again, I'm a DJ forever, but even my friends now, it's hilarious when I go out with people because they know I walk into a venue, and from the second we're there till when we leave, it could be 4 or 5 hours, I'm psychoanalyzing and keeping notes on the playlist. But I love that my friends think about that now. And that's a part of where they go. And when they decide, hey, you want to go to get wings on Wednesday night, I'll be like, well, where do you want to go? And more times than not, I hear, oh, let's go there because they have a really good playlist. And ding, 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 I love that part of it. But that's what we're trying to do with a lot of our subscribers, is just part of that exceeding expectations over and above. Did we upsell them on the birthday party? Did we add, you know, a birthday cake when they didn't know? Did they include songs at certain key times? You know, we work with another chain of FECs that they do 60-minute birthday parties and 90-minute birthday parties. And we've been able to work in at the 45-minute mark a song that plays that is the cue for the birthday host and hostesses to go get the cakes, to come back out, because in 5 minutes we're playing Happy Birthday. That's one of those cool, it happens. It's happening across the entire place. There's birthday cakes going all over it. And that's one of those, you know, exceed expectations pieces. And that's, you know, that's when mom and dad are out with all the phones, taking all the pictures. That's only going to help you engage those people more so down the road. So any questions on that?
I will butt in, Adam. Sorry to kind of interrupt you there. One phenomenal way you say, just little quick tips like that for the staff to recognize how to enhance that as well. It's not always at the ownership and managerial level, it's ways that you can bring them in too, or get them involved in singing, you know, my son's 7 and he knows the YMCA song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fun to get them involved like that. So it is a good way to, even with Party Center software, there's ways in online booking that you can request, hey, what is your guest of honor's favorite song, or something like that. We want to make sure it's playing when they walk in the door, something like that.
Oh, I love it, Megan. And we do that a lot with our customers as well, where as part of the experience, I mean, everybody has access to like Spotify and Apple Music. And one of the plugins on our software is actually a tool that you can share the URL through Spotify or Apple Music with our playlist team. And if, you know, and that can be an upsell that you can sell as part of the party, that, you know, playlist takeover, we've done with a few places where it's X amount of dollars, or they work it out as part of a deal where they will send us the URL to their specific Spotify list. And if their party starts at 6 o'clock on Friday night, automatically they're coming in, they got there 10 minutes early, they're getting set in, they're taking their presents over, they're hanging their coats up, and their playlist starts at 6 o'clock. And that's something we can automate through it. So that's just, again, another one of those really cool features that it just takes it to the next level. You know, we even, we've done a lot of places that do like corporate Olympics, or they have a version of corporate Olympics in their FEC during the day. And one of the first, I mean, the whole point of corporate Olympics is team building for your office, right? Or your staff, or whoever you're bringing in. So one of the first team building things they do before they even come on site is they all work as a team to pick the playlist that plays at the venue while they're there doing corporate Olympics and playing laser tag and everything else inside the FEC. So then we just arrange so that when they're on site, that playlist is playing. And then obviously what our guys will do, so the expectation at that point is, hey, you know, there's our playlist, but then our playlist guys take it and we'll tweak it so that it actually plays in a really cool mode, so that it's just a really cool experience when they're there. Like, hey, these are our songs, but they're able to kind of just put them in a great order so that they make sense, and it's not just smashing songs back and forth. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Adam, I have a couple of things.
Yep.
First, I want to give Megan a plug. She wrote a really awesome blog article about just what she mentioned about she had a birthday party for her son, and she learned a lot of lessons from it about how party hosts can really help control that atmosphere and really create an awesome atmosphere for the guests at a party. And music and all that good stuff is a part of that. So I just want to give her a quick plug to you guys. Go check out her blog article that she just got posted. Adam, I think that they need to make a movie about you. I would really like to see a movie of your life, because it sounds really cool. Like, I had a little bit of FOMO when you were talking about just like, yeah, I was 15, I was a DJing. That's pretty cool. And then my last question, this one's a question. I'm wondering, is Old Town Road like the new YMCA, like the new Dougie?
You know what, it's you know, it's funny. I thought that, and one of my other like 10 other jobs is I am a local youth football coach, but we play at the university, so we get to play in the big bowl, and they bring DJs out, and I actually hire all the kids that DJ those games for us. And the kids, that Old Town Road is definitely still a popular song, but I was told by a bunch of my players this week that it's a little passé.
It's old news now?
Yeah, and I'm like, man,
my 8 and 10-year-old niece and nephew, first of all, they just took the song and made up all their own words to it.
Yeah.
But I cannot leave their house without that song, their version of that song, being stuck in my head. And they're children, so.
Yeah. Well, maybe the issue
thing.
is I'm dealing with 16-year-olds, so that you know, the only thing
Way
something.
over it.
As soon as coach thinks it's cool, it's not cool anymore, right? So, but
totally.
yeah, no, it's been fun, you know, and music has always kind of surrounded, you know, everything I do. And you know, one of the earliest pictures I can remember was there's a shot of me where I actually ripped the tone arm off one of my dad's like prized like record players, and it's just a picture of me right before I got a whooping. But you know, with me holding this thing, because I was always I just so into it, and I wanted to know how it was made, and what the, you know, how that was even coming out of the speakers. I was real bad when I was a kid for taking things apart, and with them still plugged into electrical sockets and things like that. So that might have translated into my hyperness in a later age, but it's good. But no, I love it. And I think back to the point on your staff, one of the easiest ways to exceed expectations, just think of the last time you went to a restaurant or a bar or a family entertainment center, just anywhere. It could have been a cashier at Publix that you're cashing out, and man, did they just make your experience awesome, right? And I'm blown away, especially I love it when you get like a good server, or even just same thing. I'm at the grocery store. Yeah, I'm just ringing through things, but they just make your day great. And I'm amazed at how people discount and just don't think about that, or it just becomes one of those like, oh, we got to get around to that, or staff are kind of boring. But empowering your staff to have that excited atmosphere and that attitude is only going to make them better tips, especially in the FEC and restaurant space. And some kids just don't get it. They got boring parents, right? So we need to train them. You know, we're going to hire the smile and train the talent, and it gives us the opportunity to really bring them to that next level. And things like musical cues, and the same, right back to my story about Nacho Daddy. I mean, it's a Mexican place that serves really good food, and really I could have just gone in there, ordered a burrito, they'd have served me my burrito, I'd got a margarita, I'd pay for it, I'd leave. But because I had such a good time, we ended up staying an extra hour, right? And one of the goals we set out with most of the people we work with is, how do we help your guests stay a little longer, have a little bit more fun, and spend more money with you? They're already there, and this great number, that we like to tell people all the time too, is people are like 33% more apt to buy something from you when they're within 10 feet of it. So think about your business, and how can we include simple things like TVs all around our business to help you promote what's going on. So this is why once upon a time we got into the music video side of things. We were music for the longest time, and our whole software and the user interface and everything's been built at the request of our subscribers. And I was in Pennsylvania, or I think it was actually New Jersey. We're in Atlantic City at the East Coast Bowling Centers convention, and one of our customers said, it'd be really cool if you guys could do music video. And at the time, everybody was spending all this money to put screens down the lanes, and then they didn't know what to play on them because they just weren't sure. They just knew they had to have those screens, but then they'd go, great, what do we play on these? And music videos were hard to get, so we have direct relationships with the record label, so it's like, yeah, we'll do that. And we found out really quickly that one of the coolest and best engagement pieces to have people stay longer was music video. And this is early in 2000s, and MTV hasn't been playing music videos in quite some time. You can watch The Hills on MTV, but they don't play videos that much anymore. So then we started digging in a bit more. And recently, I think I've got it on the screen right now, the most recent stat on Vivo, which is they used to be their own website. Now they're the guys who host all the music videos for YouTube. 97 million US citizens watch music videos every single month. And that's something like 1.1 billion hours of music videos are watched. They're the second most watched thing other than comedy on YouTube. And, with an average of like 25 million people per day watching it, the whole thing was great. How do we make this a part of everyone's experience? And so many places you walk into right now, I'm standing behind one, or one's behind me, and there's one across from me, and there's three more here, here, and here. These TVs are so cheap, and they're everywhere in every business you walk into. And more times than not, what I walk into is people watching the Food Network on mute, and news on mute, and Sports Center. And granted, I like sports too, but what we're trying to do is add to that entertainment experience. I'm going to walk in your business. I'm going to expect music to be playing. But if all of a sudden now I catch my favorite musical artist on your TVs as well, I'm drawn in. Because other than YouTube, there's nowhere to see music video anymore. So we promote this. In fact, we actually really only sell music video now as a subscription, because we see the value in it so heavily because of how many people are into this. And they just evoke this amazing emotional response. Right? It's like, wow, it's my favorite band. And wow, when's the last time I saw a music video? Or wow, I haven't seen this since '92 when it was out. They're drawn in. And it's amazing. One of the biggest compliments we get from bar owners especially is they have, Rick and Jerry who come in every day at 3:30. They drink at the place until it closes. And that's great. And then they have the other people who come for 1 hour or something like that just after work. Is we're hearing from them like, wow, since we started playing music video, people are staying on average 30 to 45 more minutes longer because they get that information from their POS terminal. And it's equating to 1, 2, sometimes 3 more drinks and a shareable or some sort of food item. So it's affecting their bottom line. They're making more money out of it. So when I'm talking about you're more apt to buy something when you're within 10 feet of it, and 33% more apt to buying it, that if we can, you can go to Walmart now, buy TVs for near nothing, especially on like Black Friday, is fill them up and get them everywhere you can in your business. Because if we can hit them, yeah, they're playing this game, they're waiting in line for laser tag, they're over here in a queue for this. The kids are climbing the ropes course, but I'm mom and dad sitting in the parents' lounge. And, exceeding the expectations for the parents in the parents lounge. We have a lot of places too that'll have, you know, top 40 kind of bubblegum pop playing out in the arcade, but where the parents get to hang out is, you know, we're an average of people from 40 to 60 years old in there. And the magical number here is find out when those people were in high school. So we just back that up about 20, 30 years, figure out what was hot then, and we play that kind of music in the parents lounge. So now the parents, again, expected, I'm going to have to spend all this money. My kids are going to have fun, but then I'm going to have to sit in this loud area and drink a coffee that they're going to serve me or whatever it is. And now we've created this great little spot where there's this cool throwback 80s and 90s playlist. I'm like, just here's more money. Go hang out and play more games. Like, I'm in here, and if there's a bar involved, then great. Like a Dave & Buster's, it's fantastic. So, you know, Dave & Buster's is actually one of our bigger clients, and that's what we've done with them is they have the sports bar section where mom and dad hang out, and then there's the arcade where you can't hear really music anyways, but we still have the video showing on TVs because we could still grab their attention. And, you know, part of what we include into the experience there is for, you know, 30 to 60 seconds at a time is what we call infotainment. So it's information, it's still entertaining, and, you know, the music's going to keep playing, but over top of our music video, because we've engaged them with it, it's what's playing on the screen. We've created this cool little emotional response, and we've got their attention. And if we can then help you promote really anything and everything from specials to promos to food and bev, or even just safety messages is a big one we do in a lot of bowling centers and FECs. I know one of the biggest issues that as an industry that, you know, bowling and FECs deal with is slip and fall claims. We've actually worked with a lot of places where we can prove that every 30 minutes we play a don't cross the foul line or don't climb things you're not supposed to climb on message. And that's something, you know, that's a little more safety side of things, but it's an effective use of your audiovisual system at that point. And really on the infotainment and digital signage side of it, we're really just trying to help them, again, stay a little longer, spend more money, right? Can we wow them? Yes. Can we make this repeatable process? 100% if we keep the good music playing. And can we, you know, can we bring them back in and make this more of a frequent thing? Absolutely. Because it's amazing how many times, if you walk through your business today, anybody who's listening right now, if you have a Tuesday special, and what is it, Thursday right now, or you have a special on a different day of the week, go ask the people in your place and say, hey, do you know what our Tuesday special is? I guarantee you they don't know. And this is a great way to let people know, right, about anything and everything you have going on. I mean, try and sell them more while they're there, but making them more of a frequent and more repeat customer is huge. Digital signage is a great way to do this. But all too often, as part of the atmosphere and the entertainment, I walk into places where menu boards are one thing. That's fine. You can have a menu board up and it's prices and it's what it is. But then you see the TV that's just the billboard, and it's ad after ad after ad after ad. That is just going to become static to somebody after a while because they know that's just a billboard. It's like driving on the highway, I'm going to see ads. But if it's a little bit of music video and maybe it's an ad along the bottom, it's a full screen ad, you're double dutying your screens at this point. And you're not relying on people sitting and going, oh, I'll sit here and watch every one of those. No, they're gonna turn away from it at some point. So if we can give them an engaging experience, they're watching the video, and for 30 seconds at a time, you let them know about your birthday parties, your Halloween party, your New Year's Eve party you're trying to sell out ahead of time. It's a great experience at that point to be able to come in and just put that up there. Then it goes back to music. Everybody's happy at that point. So I just see a lot of misused technology in business right now, especially when it comes to TVs, where you're not delivering any sort of entertainment and you're not helping your brand by, especially playing things like the news and even SportsCenter for that matter, is all you're throwing up every couple of minutes is a Ford ad. Is Ford paying you to advertise in their business? Nope. Is there potentially an ad for a competing place down the road going to show up on there? Absolutely. Let's not do that. Let's actually promote your business from within your business. And I don't care if it's, again, our service or a similar one, is use the technology you have in your business to actually sell your business. And if you don't have screens up, audio announcements work just as well, but don't rely on, you might have that one staff member that's great about getting on the mic and saying, hey, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're all having a great time today. I want to let you know every Tuesday night we got Quarter Media, and it's a whole lot of, everybody has one of those guys or girls. But half the time, if that person's sick or not in that day, they can't make that announcement. So find a way to either record that person or make it a consistent message that's played, and it can work. Just don't overdo it. Maybe every 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, work that into your mix. But it's a missed opportunity when you've got a public address system. If you're not using it in some way, shape, or form, if you have no screens to help you sell, is the audio side of it's great. And again, part of the entertainment, part of the atmosphere, part of the ambiance. If it's an excited message, it's not like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, join us on Thursday nights. We do this, 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 and this. That's boring, right? It has to be part of it. That's why if you go into a nightclub and a DJ starts talking, he's not going is not going to be all monotone. It's got to be fun. It's got to be part of it. And if you have the ability to kind of set that same tone on the audio announcement as the music that's playing, then it's only going to help you, better convey that message. So,
Adam, let me ask you a question, interrupt you real quick. Do you see many places having people interact by just texting a specific number and then, or like at concerts, I see that, like people taking pictures and posting it of themselves, or like, hey, I just tried this beer. It was super tasty, when you're at a tasting room or something like that. Do you guys do stuff like that?
There's a really good service called like Live Text that you can subscribe to, and there's a bunch of them now. I mean, like Live Text was the guys who came out first, but a lot of different companies that do it. We looked at doing things like Instagram integration once upon a time. The challenge there in a bar setting is not that big of a deal. When you get into a family entertainment center side of things, I caution people with Instagram and even Twitter feeds if it shows visuals, because as good as the Instagram filters are to like block out certain body parts that may appear on the screen.
Sure.
That's the last thing we ever need is, I see a lot of places now, great big 10-foot, 100-foot walls of video. And if all of a sudden somebody's Instagram picture comes up that's just mildly inappropriate or super inappropriate, we don't need that costing you business, right? And it's no different than, I love music video. And obviously I just told everybody the reasons why we suggest making it part of the entertainment experience. But one thing we look at really heavily is the rating on the audio for a song, and then the rating on the visuals of the song as well. Because a song can be lyrically squeaky clean, but then the director who put the music video together may have had different ideas on what should be on the screen. So that's one thing we look at, is kind of curfewing the audio rating and curfewing the visuals on the screen too. So every video we have is either all ages, a PG rating, or an adult rating, where everything is still radio edited. There's no nudity or anything like that, but it's a difference of somebody holding a beer and drinking a beer, or holding a cigarette and smoking a cigarette, or drug use, or women and men in scantily clad outfits. Doesn't need to be part of our 2 o'clock thing. One of our things we've always prided ourselves in is our mom approved programming. The latter that I just talked about would be a little more dad approved, is the standard joke that we hear from everybody when we're discussing mom approved, but it's important to really look at that. And that's part of the challenge with a lot of places too that'll bring us on, is they're putting the music in the hands of Joe or Joanna or one of their staff members, and they're really into music, they play it, and I go, okay, great, well, let's actually look at what they're playing, and the kids are playing what they want to hear, and that's maybe not what your branded experience should and must sound like when you're putting it in their hands. And maybe they're really good at it as well, but the challenge is if they're not on it every day, or once a week. We were talking about Old Town Road earlier, and the fact that song's gotten a little stale. It's still huge. It's still way up on the charts. But that's more so because it's become adult contemporary at this point, or it's playing on the hot AC channels. So people in their 30s to 54 are now into that song, whereas 16 to 25-year-olds it's kind of over at this point. So that becomes a challenge where why people bring us in is it's really important, if it's in your budget, to have a look at somebody managing your playlist and that part of your experience. Again, all too many times I walk into places that put a ton of money into what color the paint is on the wall, what the finishes are on the tables, what the finishes are on the fabric for the banquettes and chairs, and then music's always one of these, just like just whatever, just put on the radio. And it's one of the biggest make or breaks. I've been in beautiful facilities before that have had the FM radio on, and I walk into a Ford commercial. You're not delivering any entertainment value at that point, zero. And it's going to likely going to deter people away. And I've walked out of places before because I'm like, this is just, you've put this great experience in front of me, and then you're killing it. You're killing vibe, right? The whole vibe is why I'm here. I want this fun. I want this excitement, but that's not happening to commercial radio commercials. So just a couple things to think about for sure. So, and I know I've been going on for a while here too. So has any questions popped up at all, Rebecca?
It doesn't look like it. Let me go ahead and just remind you guys, you have the option there. You can throw a question in the Q&A. So if you have any questions at any point, please throw them in there. I am monitoring our Q&A here. So now is the time. If you have questions for Adam and you would like them answered, throw them in that Q&A.
Awesome.
And I've got the box open.
It's definitely one of those things. I spent a few years going around to regional, state meetings and talking on the same thing. And music's a tough one because it's such a subjective thing. Everybody's got their own taste. And and their idea of it. And that's great, you know, when we're at home and we're playing music for it. But when it comes to the business side of things, it's just, you know, anybody who's listening today or who's on the webinar, I challenge you to just go and have a listen to what you're playing might be fantastic right now. And I applaud you for that. But if music's one of those things that it's always that I'm going to get around to it, you know, I'd love to chat with you. Even I'll talk about what you're using now and tell you how to do it better. If it's Spotify or something like that, I'd be happy to. Obviously, I'd love to talk to you about using our service, but there's just little things we can do to better utilize the softwares and things in front of us right now. I mean, music is so accessible now that there's no excuse why you're not doing a half decent job of it. Obviously, you know, that's the meets expectations. The exceeds expectations is bringing a company like ours in, or another similar music service that works specifically with family entertainment centers. Because the music that, you know, is being provided to you by a lot of professional services that are out there right now are developed for, like, made for the masses. You know, it's things like the DirecTV music channels, like that's made for your living room. And a lot of places will use that. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it hasn't been developed specifically for your application. You know, because with customized radio, I have an FM radio background as well. I went to school for that. Is, you know, that's for playing in your car, it's for everywhere, right? But when we understand people are with us for 90 to 2 hours or an hour, whatever that time frame is, we need to understand that when they're with us, there's that ride we're taking them on. And if it's 60-minute ride, it's a 90-minute ride, it's a 2-hour ride, that needs to happen every single time they come. And no better way to set the right attitude and atmosphere than just having the right tunes playing, and understanding that the music we play at 10 in the morning for mom and the kids is going to be different than that teenage crowd we're going after later, or the dating crowd we're going after later at night, or if we're trying to bring in an adult group. It needs to all work, and we need to understand those different times of the day and find a way to ensure that as part of our standard operating procedure for that time of day, for that group, that the right music still needs to be playing. And once we figured out, you know, what is that right attitude and the right atmosphere and the right music to play, is back on my plan document from earlier, is how do we network with them once we've got them here? They're excited, they're with us, and how do we either make them better aware or sell more to them while they're with us? And once you can figure that out, that's definitely making you more money, guaranteed. And on the brand loyalty side of things, if you can do that and consistently do that, then you're going to own them. Right? And then that's when they start sharing, had a great time on Yelp or had a great time on Facebook, and they're having those water cooler conversations when they're back at the office on Monday. And that's only what's, you know, that's creating your repeat and exceeded business. So that's
right,
pretty
Adam,
much.
We've got a couple questions
Cool.
to throw out there at you. Keep sending your questions in as I'm asking. I'm actually going to jump to the second question. I'll go back to the first one because you had talked about, you know, your audience and really catering to that audience. So we have a question here. Does FEC Music make custom selections for, say, a theme of a business that they're trying to convey? For example, my FEC is named Tropical Play, and the theme is tropical. So they're thinking something like steel drum music.
Cool.
Can you guys help them with something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do is we have an onboarding process. So every single new customer goes through onboarding, and there's a couple of different phone calls or it's one call, but you talk to a bunch of different teams. One of them is just the technical, how you setting the thing up, where's it going, where's the hardware. The second one is a playlist audit. So we would specifically align you with one of our, depending on what kind of business you're with, we have a whole team of playlist experts. And as part of your subscription, you actually have access to them 7 days a week, and you can call them or you can email them, or we have a chat bot right on the software where you could, you know, in this case, if we're working with you right out of the gates and it's this cool tropical vibe and we want steel drum music, then it would be a matter of getting you on the phone with the playlist guy, and you'd let them know, this is my vibe, here's my operating hours, and this is just what I want to set. And there's some places where it's the same cool vibe every minute that they're open, right? And certainly what our guys would do is just look at that and go, great, tropical music. We have a bunch of cool like beach and patio theme playlists as well. That we might suggest, or we build something completely custom for the venue, depending on what they need. So yeah, it's 100% something we can handle.
Awesome. Awesome. And now this is going to be a big question, probably tough. I don't know, but someone is asking costs. What are the costs for something like this?
So our service is pretty simple. We haven't actually changed our pricing since day one, but there's a free trial available. So every new venue that comes on, there's the ability to download our software. For music, it's real simple because it goes on a computer you have, or you can get one from us. With video, there's a bit of a requirement, so we would do more of an online demo to experience it. But you would go through a free trial for at least 2 weeks. meet the playlist team, meet the marketing team, implement the actual service in your business so that it's actually playing and we can get that experience and actually help kind of show you how it works first. And then we're really anywhere between $79 and $199 a month for the service, just depending on sort of what levels that you need. And obviously we want to put you on the trial so you can better understand, do I just need music? Do I want marketing as well? Do I want music video? But yeah, I think the pricing is on the website as well. It's not anything we hide. But yeah, it starts at $79, you're as high as $199 per month for the service.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Megan or Alex, did you guys have questions for Adam here that he can, anything that you feel we should convey to our listeners on this webinar today?
Yeah, kind of. Well, one thing, Adam, if I remember right, didn't you say that people can get in trouble for playing Pandora and Spotify and stuff like that in their facility without paying like a licensing style fee? Or isn't that?
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns is Pandora, Spotify. There's actually 4 business versions of both of those services. So Pandora has a Pandora for Business. Spotify is actually called Soundtrack Your Brand, is their for business version of it. But the challenge is all too often people are just taking their personal accounts that are like $2 a month or $9.99 a month or something like that for Spotify, and they're using that within their business. And when you know that end user license agreement that everybody skips by when you sign up for a software, that's the thing everybody misses because nobody wants to read for a day. One of the biggest things with the for personal use Pandora or Spotify is it's actually illegal to use it in your business without just that version of it. If you subscribe to, let's say, Pandora for Business, or you subscribe to Soundtrack Your Brand, which is their for business version, it's around $30 a month or something like that. But you still are required to have public performance licensing in your business as well. And the challenge is that a lot of these made for the masses solutions will kind of say, no, we got you covered on background licensing. But in an FEC situation, licensing is never background, it's always foreground. And the way that that's picked out, and this is a real touchy subject for a lot of people who are probably listening right now because nobody likes to pay it, but it is a cost of doing business, is if you have a cover charge, a dance floor, or human body manipulating your music, you're now foreground. And that's pretty much true with every single family entertainment center. So any for business music solution that's out there that they could cover you for background, but it's moot. It doesn't matter because you're a foreground application and you need to get that privately from the licensing agencies. And if you haven't spoken with them, they'll find you eventually and they'll send you a nice letter, or somebody might call you and say you owe us money. But they're definitely people that are better to just work with right out of the gates, because if they have to find you, then they're usually not as nice. But they have the best interest of the artists at in their hearts. But they just have bots that will scour the internet looking for anybody with the words DJ or cover charge or anything like that, or family entertainment center or bowling. So that's just word of caution. It's the same thing. We tell everybody that we work with as well, as we don't cover the background or a foreground license with our solution. It's something that you still need to get. But we've got all sorts of documentation on that. But that's a really good question, Megan, because there are a lot of people, and the challenge is they have the ability. Now, again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but they have the ability to go back 5 years and retroactively charge you if you haven't been paying them and you've been in business for the last 5 years. So
that's crazy.
If you get nothing else out of this call, then I would highly suggest, the thing is there's BMI, CSAC, and ASCAP are the 3 main PRO agencies, and there's the most recent one is called GMR, that it's come out in the US as well. If anybody from Canada is listening, it's SOCAN and Resound are the 2 companies you need to deal with. It's a little different in Canada, but in the US, there's those 4 agencies that if they have not contacted you right now, they do talk, and they will, they share information on the businesses. So it's definitely something to take very seriously, and it's understand that needs to be part of your annual budget as well, as that that you're paying them as well.
Thanks, Adam.
Wow, what a great point.
Yeah, Adam, I actually had some feedback and a question, more of a fun one.
Okay.
So as you've been going through this and talking about, your passions for this, and especially your story, I agree on the movie bid. You kind of brought some flashbacks to me. So I think one of the big advantages that I really like about kind of what you're describing here is just the owner and corporate control over this part of the customer experience, right? And how standardized that is. I am guilty of it in the past, this flashback. I directed and did the operations for multiple locations in a kind of a brick and mortar setting. And I created these awesome playlists for my demographics. And of course, I did them with Spotify. And for legal purposes, I'll tell you that I had all the licensing. But it was perfect for it. And, I would be lying if I said that, since I can't be in all locations, and I surely didn't work every day, sometimes I'd surprise a store and I'd walk into, Megadeth, or, I might catch someone on the cameras listening to some 3 6 Mafia.
Oh, nice.
Not for my demo. And, it's because they had the ability to press the button, right?
Yep.
I really like what you guys provide in terms of, as an owner, I can take my Tuesdays off. I know that's when this league you might be coming in, and this is the type of music that'll be playing. It's been picked out for me. I don't have to check the cameras, check anything. You guys are handling that.
But it's amazing. We go as far as actually guaranteeing that if anyone ever actually gets a bad Yelp review or a bad Facebook review, that there was inappropriate music playing in their FEC or their bowling center, then we give them a free month. Just because, and now that's if it's music we've programmed for you. If they made their own playlist, then that's on them. But yeah, you're exactly right. And with a lot of the, we deal with a lot of single locations, but we deal with a lot of groups as well. And it's important that, and with our playlists, we've got these automation schedules where we can make a national, a regional, or an individual version of a schedule so that maybe the entire country gets this and everybody's playing the exact same thing at the exact same time. So you could be in California or New York City and know that, hey, the Big Mac tastes the same whether I'm there or there, right? The music sounds the same, the experience is the same whether I'm there or there. But if we are dealing with things like maybe New York City versus the state of Texas or California, a lot of times because of the larger Latino markets, we might have the standard playlist, but we add a little bit of like extra Latino content there as well, because they have those bigger markets in that area. And we want to, again, keep everybody happy and keep the flavor right when it comes to the music. So it's very important that that's all set up and then it's all locked down. Because again, one bad song can cost you business. It upset mom and they're not going to come back again. And it's just something as silly as, your one staff member wanted to hear the raunchiest hip hop song that's out and they had access to it. And if they have access to it, they're playing what they want to hear 100% every time.
And then I did have that quick question. So you're very passionate about this, and I know you're really excited when you talk to people about the music they're going to play and the themes they're going to do. So I want to kind of pick your brain here. What is the favorite theme in terms of music that you guys have set up for someone? I know is there like a pop punk FEC? Is someone we were talking about steel drums just a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
You know what? We deal with a lot of really cool venues. I think one of the neatest ones, somebody came to us and they had a spy themed FEC, and they wanted all the music to be songs from the James Bond movies and that sort of real kind of electronic, immediately everybody just thinks to the GoldenEye theme, but we've done that. We dealt with a place now more so on the control play side of things, that was a burger joint, and they decided how they were going to differentiate themselves in the industry is they were going to become the heaviest heavy metal burger place in the U.S. and they play some of the heaviest music I've ever heard in my life. And they're in Chicago. The place is called Kuma's. If you're ever in town, it's some of the best burgers you'll ever have in your life. And you go in there and there's this attitude about the staff. They're some of the nicest people when they're in the back room and the staff room, but when they go out, they all understand the atmosphere and the attitude they're trying to create. Right down to, I was sitting next to a lovely couple that were in their 60s, and they're like, hey, can you turn it down? And I'm not going to repeat some of the language that the server said to these folks, but that's what they're instructed to do, is say, no, this is what we play. I was blown away by this. But yeah, if you're ever in Chicago, total plug, the Kumas guys are awesome. But in the FEC side of things, I've seen a lot of it, and we've had some people that will convert the whole place over to, they'll do a disco night where it's nothing but 70s music, which is super fun. And we've had a lot of 90s. 90s is really big right now, as is the early 2Ks. So a lot of people are going back to it. But you know what? I wish I had one of our playlist guys on it here as well, because we have a whole team of 7 guys that all they do is build playlists. Actually, I started that team and promoted a few guys up to run it. But they get some pretty crazy requests all day, every day. And I'd love to share more of that. I'll circle back with you on that one, Alex. But the spy theme thing was cool. And we've had a lot of places that just go to these insane levels of music just to try and create these different atmospheres for sure? That's a great question.
So much
That's
range
awesome.
of passion on your team. I love it.
Yeah.
Totally. Adam, thank you so much. This has been so informative. For those of you that are still on, if you have questions after the fact, you can see the contact information here to reach out to Adam over at FEC Music. And if you have questions for our team, there's contact information there for you too.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any feedback or have any topics you'd like us to discuss, please be sure to email marketing@partycentersoftware.com. This podcast is a weekly podcast, so you can expect new episodes every Thursday. Party Center Speaks is powered by Party Center Software. We are a facility management tool that helps family entertainment centers and event venues book more parties and manage their facilities. We also offer marketing services such as custom website design and marketing automations to help you expand your reach and grow traffic. If you'd like to know more about us, head over to partycentersoftware.com and please be sure to give us a follow at Party Center Software on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and at Party Center Soft on Twitter. Until next time, thanks for listening.